Hey, Ted.
My good sir, it's so excellent to see you.
Yes, it is. Are you ready to talk about communication
I absolutely am. I come prepared.
and our excellent service project?
That's right.
Alrighty.
We had the pleasure of being able to serve at our school,
That is
Beaver
right.
High School.
That is right. So basically, what our service project is for the school musical, me and him are running the sound and technical booth.
Right.
So basically, we keep the mics going on and off when needed.
We put the lights on for the different areas, have to switch them around, and we just run the general things and keep everything going smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought this would be an excellent service project since we were the only ones who knew how to do it since the last music teacher left. And also, what better place to witness communications than a high school musical where there's so many different kinds of communications going on constantly.
Yeah, between the actors on the stage, between the actors and us, directors, and everyone
Yeah.
else.
So we just felt that it was a great opportunity to be able to complete this assignment.
That's right. So basically, what we're going to talk about is the nonverbal communication we see,
Right.
differences in age,
And then also we're going to talk about the differences in communication with the gender.
right?
So going right into nonverbal, so like Professor Cox said, nonverbal is always happening. Even when you're dead, you're doing nonverbal communication. And that's something that the directors have clearly taken into account because as they tell the actors, you have to always stay in character. When you're on stage, you're always acting. Even when you're not being verbal and saying something, you still have to control your nonverbal communication to stay in character.
And it's really cool to see because it is really out of their comfort zone to try to control their nonverbal,
Right.
expressions that they are giving.
Because a lot of it's unconscious.
Yeah, they don't know that they're doing it, but it's up to us in the booth and the directors. It is quite obvious that they seem awkward or don't want to be there or something. But
Yeah. And so that's been really quite interesting.
So the next point is age. So for me and Ted, we see a huge difference since
Our high school is actually from 7th grade to 12th grade, and so there's a lot of emotional development that happens in
That's
that
right.
time.
Yeah, and there's all ages of actors on the
Right.
stage.
Yeah,
so,
we have them all.
Yeah. And it's interesting that the younger ones, like the 7th, 8th, 8th grader, we're seniors.
Yeah.
So we're pretty old compared to all them.
We're the old cats at the school now.
It's sad.
Been here so long. Pretty much
Yeah.
adults.
But anyway, the younger kids, they talk to us very differently
Yeah,
than they
it's-
do each other.
It's like we're not one of them anymore, which I suppose we're not because we are seniors now, but they're
Yeah.
treating us like we're one of the adults.
Yeah, we're still students there. but-
Yeah. So despite that fact, they're treating us like we're teachers, like we're in charge. Maybe because we're older, and also probably in part because we're in a sort of
authoritative, position.
yeah, exactly.
So it is interesting, and just even seeing their communication on the stage, like the younger kids and the older kids. Like the younger kids don't even, if the older kid says something, then the younger kids do it because they don't want to disappoint the elders.
And also going kind of back into nonverbal, it sort of seemed to me that the older kids had better control over their nonverbal communications, or at least they were putting in more effort to be in control.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to witness.
And our next point is the differences with gender
Gender.
involving communication.
That's right.
So we're gonna pick on the younger kids again, but we've noticed that the younger girls, like
The
seventh,
7th grade, they're vicious.
they are
They are, in a lot of ways,
Like-
just cruel. They're,
very cruel.
I mean, there was one point where this little girl was in the corner and she's just kind of crying, and the director went over to talk to her and comfort her, and it was just
We don't know any of the details, but basically, I think it was just them just
being kind
not getting along.
yeah, it's just awful. And you could see the communication, what their kind of affair was on stage. See who was being picked on and who wasn't.
That's
That was pretty clear, even from us all the way back in the booth.
Yeah, and the research shows that even the younger kids that are still maturing and still figuring out what's going on, it is harder for them to get along with each other and
Right.
exhibit appropriate behavior
Yeah.
instead of making the little girl cry and
Yeah.
stuff. So.
And something else I noticed last year, I also helped run the things back when we had the old teacher, and the environment was quite a bit different because back then I was the only man in a room full of a few women, and so they were a little more open about certain things than I was used to. They talked a lot about relationships with the people.
Yeah.
The old director, she considered herself something of a matchmaker.
Yeah.
As she said
She would
herself.
pair certain roles on the stage so they would be forced to
Interact, and then
get to know each other.
she was often successful in her goals.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
That was interesting. And so this year, now that I'm kind of older, and also we now have a new male music teacher, it seems a little more stifled on some areas, but also because we're both older, about different things there, the directors are kind of open to us about saying, well, that was just poor work right there with us, and then also with the actors. I feel like they're kind of treating us with more respect as we've grown older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, to summarize all of our points, we've talked about nonverbal communication that we see between actors
that
on
changes.
the stage, the differences with age and also gender.
right.
They're all very different,
It's very exciting.
and I guess that's it.
Wait.
Wait.
When shall we three meet again?
Wow, there's a third guy there. Wow.
Goodness me. Just like Shakespeare, which is timeless, so is service. Go out and do it.
That's right.